This is Tim, the Magic Warrior. Today, I am Tim, and this is how I beat Diablo and saved the town of Tristram from damnation. At first, it seemed like this game would be easy. As you can see, I am slaying ghouls with just a few measly whacks. This thought process was reinforced when, soon thereafter, I discovered the descent to level 3 was not 10 steps away from the entrance to level 2. This is a baby game, I thought to myself, naively. Then I opened this door and received a rude awakening to the reality of what this game actually had in store for me. A learning curve, and that's okay because we love getting better. Case in point, the next time I found myself in a similar situation, poised outside a room full of what appear to be chupacabras, I was this time prepared with a scroll of firewall at the ready. My plan was to kick open the door, tactically retreat backwards several paces before summoning the barrier of flames in the doorway, burning them all to a fine crisp. In practice, I opened the door, lost several crucial seconds accidentally casting the incorrect spell, and watched helplessly as the room filled with bloodthirsty gremlins. When I finally did manage to activate the scroll, the titular firewall ignited at my very feet, burning through half my life bar while having no effect on my assailants. Several moments later, the flames of failure went out, and with them, my dignity. Fortunately, when we are at our lowest, we can only go up, and I soon received my first quest. It was to clean the village well. Said well looked as though it were filled with vomit, so I could see why they needed help. The town elder, Deckard Cain, informed me the well was drawn from an underground lake, which could be accessed by a mysterious tunnel. And so, I set out. After much wandering, I realized there wasn't any content in this ancient-ass game outside the one dungeon, so back in I went. It wasn't long at all before I indeed discovered the secret tunnel, and I diagnosed the problem at once. There were a bunch of Googahs running around down here. I tidied up the place and returned to my quest giver, eager for reward.
Take this ring.
As I began to come to grips with the mechanics of the game, I also started learning new spells, including telekinesis. When I spied an enemy who did not immediately initiate pursuit, I attempted to try it out. It didn't do anything, so I switched to blasting them with fireballs instead. When that didn't work, I settled for simply axing him. It turns out, he was friendly, and wished to construct for me a boon in exchange for my protection.
Keep alive, and next time good bring to you.
Fear not, Garbod, I said. On my honor, I'll defend you with my life. After some time, I returned to Garbod. He attempted to give me an item with the promise of another later on, but because he didn't actually hand it to me, since I guess that's just not how people do things here, it is lost on the floor for all eternity, presumably disappearing to whatever dimension finger and toenails go to when they're shamelessly cut in front of the living room television. On the third occasion I approached Garbod the Weak, I initially maintained a pleasant demeanor. Hey Garbod, I said in my kindest tone, have you finished crafting that item you promised me?
This too good for you. Very powerful. You want, you take.
I'm not impressed.
Alas, the item he was so proud of and lost his life over was, in fact, vendor trash, which I sold for a pittance. I was quickly becoming a stalwart combat tactician. Notice here as I outmaneuver my enemies with a strategic timeout. After restocking my supply of health potions, I re-entered the fray, and engaged in hot pursuit with the ringleader of this little archery fan club. I put on the moves to avoid as many arrows as possible, but when the 12-foot rhino men made an appearance, I decided that maybe this room was a challenge for a later date, preferably when I had better gear. Speaking of which, it wasn't long after I heard tale of a mystic armor called Valor.
Valor could be what tips the scales in your favor.
It is said that when this holy armor is again needed, a hero will arise to don valor once more.
And so, locked beyond the gateway of blood and past the hall of fire, valor awaits for the hero of light to awaken.
Wow, I thought to myself, a set of armor so rare and powerful must be incredibly difficult to acquire. It could be the greatest armor of all time. Look, there it is lying in a pile on the ground. Oh hell yeah. So this is one of my first videos on my channel, and I just want to say that I'd like to cultivate a PG-13 environment. So that means I can still say the F word once a video, you know, if I wanted to. But I don't want a bunch of dirty sex jokes and stuff all the time.
It's a big black mushroom that I need.
Now that's one big mushroom.
Yes, this will be perfect for a brew that I am
Yeah, I'm
creating.
sure that's what you're using it for.
The healer is looking for the brain of some demon or another so he can treat those who have been afflicted by their poisonous venom.
Uh-huh. In other words, get out of my shack and don't bother me for the next 2 hours. I assumed the current owner of the brain I needed would be some sort of mini-boss, and this was my first time in a new zone as well. I mentally prepared myself for the fight of my life. He turned out to be zero challenge at all, which could not be said about Lazarus.
Abandon your foolish quest. All that awaits you is the wrath of my master. You are too late to save the child. Now you will join him in hell.
We'll see about that, Lazarus. Your polygamy is no match for my asexuality. This man has an actual army of big-titty goth GFs. Unfortunately for them, I'm a master of both the blade and the arcane arts. The hottest babe in hell couldn't withstand the heat of these flames. Just you and me, Lazarus. Is it getting hot in here, or is it just you?
Your madness ends here, betrayer.
I hope I never have to fight another guy like that again, I thought to myself. With Diablo defeated, his domain froze over, and everyone lived happily ever after. Except Tim. And also these people.